Jacksepticeye is launching a coffee brand. Geoffrey Star has responded to backlash to his cremated palette. Justin Bieber slides into Charli D'Amelio's DMs. Daniel Silva has been charged with murder following the death of YouTube star Corey LaBarry. That's right, 4 stories this week, folks. I'm seeing double here. 4 crusties. And it's the return of YouTuber Watch. Who will it be this week? All this plus, oh well, I never. Was there ever a cat so clever as magical Mr. Mistopheles? More of that in a grisly special report on this week's edition of YouTuber News. Hosted by me, Benedict Townsend, and brought to you by PopBuzz, the only website that can travel over 200 miles on a single charge. And that's a guarantee. I met Mr. Mistopheles once. Yeah, it was the 1998 Blockbuster Video Awards, and he was so drunk, just an absolute mess. I was like, sir, I'm such a huge fan of your work, everything you're doing for the Jellicle cause, and he swung for me. He did swing for me. So I disabled him with a series of highly efficient moves, got him on the ground, paw behind his back, and I said, one more move and I'll break this arm. And he said, truly, you are the real Jellicle choice. And I was like, tell me something I don't know. And then I was asked to leave. Our first story. It seems that Jacksepticeye has launched a coffee brand. Yes, it all started when Jack retweeted a tweet from something called Top of the Morning Coffee that said, quote, might look around and release a coffee company soon. Which sure is a direct way of saying that you might release a coffee company. Now, a fan on Twitter replied to that tweet asking for a dark roast, and Jack replied to them saying, quote, this blend is called Midnight Oil. It's plenty dark. : D. So it looks like a dark roast is on the cards. I can't believe I'm reporting on this. This is not news. However, or as they would say in Northern Ireland, however, the bio of the account, the coffee account says, quote, is this a real coffee company or a joke? So maybe this is all a form of abstract performance art. Maybe there is no coffee company. There almost certainly is. Maybe he's doing this as an elaborate prank. He isn't. It's probably real. And, maybe this is the one example of a YouTuber not launching yet another money-making scheme. And it definitely, it's going to be real, isn't it? And you know what? Good for him. As long as it's fair trade and everything, go for it, Jack. And that is, in my opinion, in many ways, not news at all. So let's roll on to story number 2. Our second story, and it's about Geoffrey Star. A little bit of a shake-up for YouTuber News to be covering Geoffrey Star. What's next, James Charles? This is crazy. So basically, Geoffrey Star released a new palette called Cremated. I actually spoke about this on the YouTuber News podcast this week, which is available on all good podcast platforms. And there was some backlash because people said, is this the best time to be releasing a palette called Cremated? It's obviously a very dark time. Is this the best time to release that product? People thought that he had done it on purpose, possibly to be controversial or something like that. But in a new video, Geoffrey has very calmly explained that's not the case. He said, quote, it takes months and months and months, sometimes a year plus, to make a product. So making it clear that he's been planning this for a while. And in terms of the name itself, Cremated, being controversial, he said, quote, for me, this is art, and I never come from a negative place. My own father who passed away and my dogs that passed away last year were all cremated. It's got a very heavy episode all of a sudden. I created this to make people smile. In no way was this created to be offensive, ever. He went on to say that he had the idea and trademarked the name back in last year. Cremated was actually trademarked back in September, so kind of long before this whole pandemic was widely known about anyway. And he said that he'd already delayed it and he couldn't delay it anymore because then he'd have to release it in 2021, at which point all the makeup would have expired because it's all already been made. So he said releasing it now was kind of the only option he had, or it would all just go to waste. But in a refreshing ending for a YouTuber, he said, quote, I want to end by saying I'm never discrediting anyone's feelings. Everyone is allowed to feel how they want and interpret things how they do. Just know that I come from a good place. In other words, saying if you want to get mad about the name, you're entitled to, that's your right, and he's not going to get mad at you for that. So that's quite nice from Geoffrey, quite refreshing. But obviously it remains up for debate. What do you guys think? You can tweet me at Benedict Town and let me know if you think Geoffrey's in the clear, if you still think it was offensive. Let me know your thoughts. Next up, we've got a story about Charli D'Amelio and Justin Bieber, but before that, 2 shows ago, I launched a brand new segment inspired by Tiger King, where I bring out dangerous wild animals onto the show. I brought a tiger out and it was very, very dangerous, but I survived. I had a chair and a whip like a guy in a cartoon. Then last week I brought out a very dangerous giant tortoise called Charli, and I also tamed it, and it walked around the desk, and everyone was like, this is incredible, like, I'm surprised that creature didn't eat you. And I was like, well, I do know Krav Maga, so I would have got the tortoise. So this week, continuing our theme of bringing out inspiring but very dangerous animals, we've had land, we've had sea, now it's time for air. So I'm going to bring out Dustin, the mighty bald eagle. And I think Deirdre has Dustin, so if we could bring him out. Dustin is he's flying around the room. They're trying to catch him with a big net. And they've got him. Here he comes, swooping in. There he is, Dustin, the bald eagle. Wow, welcome, Dustin. Now, an adult one of these can grow to over 50 feet. This is only half that size at 25 feet. But as you can see, it's a beautiful, beautiful plumage on this. No, here we go. Is it nice? My God, he's getting very comfortable. I'm slightly worried that Dustin's gonna swipe me. Our third story, Justin Bieber recently slid into Charli D'Amelio's DMs for a nice reason. Yes, the other night, Charli was on TikTok Live, very unusual for her, and Justin Bieber entered the chat, commenting, quote, "Please check your DMs when you're done with your live, thanks." Now naturally, Charli D'Amelio, she freaked out, she said, quote, "That's a joke, that's a joke, that was a joke. Please tell me someone screenshotted that." You know, she has 56 million followers, so someone did manage to screenshot that, and it turns out, yeah, it did really happen. But, I hear you say, Justin is a married man. He has a wife, Barbara Bieber. Well, don't worry, he wasn't doing anything unsavory. We've now worked out probably what the DM was all about. You see, Justin was most likely asking the TikTok star to record a birthday message for his sister Jasmine Bieber, who turned 12. Because he put together a video message from loads of celebrities, including Billie Eilish, Addison Rae, and real couple Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes, who are in love. Now, Justin eventually deleted the video from his feed, but Charli D'Amelio was included in it, so it seems like that's what his DM was all about. So it seems that the whole thing had a nice happy ending. And isn't that lovely? And I will use this opportunity to say, Justin Bieber, please stop DMing me. We're already mates, but it's getting a little heavy-handed. Our fourth story. It's not a thing I say often. This is a very serious story. Daniel Silva has been charged with murder following the death of YouTube star Corey LeBarry. Now, Daniel Silva is known for appearing on the reality show Ink Master, and is not to be confused with Daniel Silva, the New York Times best-selling author, whose website is probably getting a lot of web traffic right now, considering it's the first site that comes up when you Google Daniel Silva. Don't know if that's good or bad, but either way, it's not him, it's the Ink Masters guy. And Daniel Silva has been charged with murder following the death of Corey LeBarry. The YouTube star died in a car accident on the 10th of May on his 25th birthday. In a statement, the police have now alleged that Silva was driving the car and he was speeding, and then it crashed into a stop sign and then a tree at 9:40 p.m. near North Hollywood. Police have also said that the driver tried to leave the scene but was stopped by people who went to assist, so seeming to imply that he tried to flee the scene and then people stopped him fleeing. This is all alleged. According to new legal documents obtained by TMZ, supposedly, the Ink Master star, quote, did unlawfully and with malice aforethought murder LeBarry. Now, I'll crack out my law degree for this. Malice aforethought means that you planned ahead of time to do a bad thing. That's why I guess they've gone for a murder charge as opposed to manslaughter. They're trying to say that this was a deliberate act and not an accident. The LA County DA website reads, quote, a 26-year-old man has been charged with killing the passenger in his McLaren sports car after crashing into a tree. Now, if convicted, he could face a maximum sentence of 15 years to life in prison, but it's not yet known if he has a lawyer. I mean, all the legal proceedings haven't kicked off yet, so we're not going to comment on any of that. But either way, it's a very tragic story all round. This week, someone posted in the YouTuber News Facebook group that they had written an essay for school about YouTuber News, about how it was surrealist and how it used absurd comedy to poke fun at YouTube culture and YouTubers, and how it wasn't a real news show. It was just a show where I try and be as silly as possible to make fun of things. And I thought that was really great. Anyway, on a completely unrelated note, it's time for Dan How Watch. Welcome to Dan How Watch. I'm Barbara Bieber. What's Dan been up to this week? Well, 2 weeks ago, you'll remember we started what fans have dubbed the Amulet Saga. And viewers have been going ballistic and also wild as they try to guess what's going to happen next. The Amulet said to him,
Dan, you need to go somewhere. A place of answers.
That's a different voice from last week. What is this holy place? Asked Dan, aghast and agape.
It is a factory where they make smaller factories.
Wow, that's amazing! I've never been anywhere like that before. I wonder if I'll meet a criminal. I wonder if he has a sword. What amazing, refreshing new adventures I have on the horizon.
That's not all, you little dunderhead. There is a person you need to meet there. The person who has all the answers.
Who is this person?
The person who has all the answers is a rat.
Wow, what a cliffhanger. The rat has entered Dan Howatch for only, I think, maybe the 8th time. That's crazy. Crossover of the century has happened again. What is going to happen next week? Well, you have to tune into Dan Howatch to find out. And that's Rat on Rat. I'm Benedict Townsend. This has been YouTuber News, which airs every week on the YouTuber News YouTube channel and also on Snapchat Discover. Now, if you missed last week's episode of YouTuber News, what are you doing, bro? We covered a story about Colleen Ballinger admitting she sent underwear to a young fan. You can find out exactly what that's all about. We had a story about Curtis Connor going to war with YouTube. And of course, we had a story about James Charles being called out for something or other. So if you haven't seen that episode, make sure to check it out. After this episode, you can do the double, much like we are doing the double on this episode by doing 4 stories, and you are welcome for that. I'll be back next weekend with a brand new episode, and I'll be back next Tuesday with a brand new episode of the YouTuber News podcast. KSI was on the show last week. There's also a video of that interview on the YouTube channel. Lots of lovely things you can check out to pass the time. But either way, I won't detain you any longer. Go about and have a lovely week, look after yourselves, and I'll leave you with the wise words of Mr. Justin Bieber, who once said, I know I can treat you better than he can. I know that you deserve it, gentleman. I won't be wasting time, instead. It's my favourite Justin Bieber song. It's an absolute banger. See you next week.